Hi, and welcome to ReallyLearnGuitar.com. Jeff's tip. Today's tip is going to be guide tones. Guide tones are an important element for making music seem connected. The guide tones that I'm going to be talking about are going to be for melody or lead guitar playing, but you can also use guide tones for your chord playing in the future. So, what a guide tone is if you have a chord happening, for instance a G chord, the G chord is created from three notes. And those three notes are a G, a B, and a D. So those three notes will be your guide tones. And then what happens is you use the rest of the scale to create color. So the guide tones are called also chord tones, and then the rest of the notes of the scale are called color tones. So for instance, if I'm playing to a G chord, and I'm going to be in the key of G here, I might start my phrase on a G, and maybe my guide tone that I'll be shooting for will be a B. And what happens is it helps to establish the sound of the chord. Let's say I'm doing a C chord. The notes of that are C, E, and G. So maybe this time I'll shoot for a C and end on a C again. And let's say I'm doing a D chord. The notes of that, or the guide tones, would be a D, an F sharp, and an A. So I'll start on an F sharp and I'll end on an A. So if I'm playing to a G once again, to a C, to a D. Okay, and for the visual learners, let's take a look at the chart. So in the chart, all I want to do is reestablish that each of these chords has three notes in them. You have a G chord, which have a G, a B, and a D. So those would be my guide tones for that chord. The C chord has a C, an E, and a G. Those would be my guide tones for that chord. And then I have a D chord, which is a D, an F sharp, and an A. Now, a really interesting thing that can happen to make this all much easier on you is to look for like tones between chords. So, for instance, between the G and the C, I have a G in the G chord and a G in the C chord. So maybe that would be one of my important guide tones that I would lean on heavily just to make it easier on my brain. Then I move from the C to the D, there's no like tones there, but when I move from the D back to the G, I have a D note and a D note. So I would have two like notes here, and then two like notes from here to here. Okay? Let me just point out a couple other tips back on the guitar. Alright, one more quick piece of advice for you. The like tones make things easier, but what you really want to try to accomplish is beginning and ending your phrase on something that is part of the chord that's of the moment, and or your last note could be one of the notes of the next chords coming up. The best thing to do is to first establish the groundwork of being able to start and end your phrases on notes of the chord, and you'll find that this will make your melodies and note choices much stronger and your lead playing much stronger overall as well. So give it a try. Go out to those jam nights, and that's really the best place to give yourself a trial and you know, have a good time and do it up. And I will see you next time. Have a good time.